The presidential election of the USA is on the 3rd of November.
Unlike most countries around that world that have a direct electoral system,
the U.S. presidential election adopts an indirect electoral system. Today we'll be exploring the presidential election of the USA. Direct election vs. indirect election.
First of all, the direct election is when people directly vote for the candidate. Voting for the class captain is a typical example of the direct electoral system. On the other hand, the indirect election is when people select voters to vote on their behalf. Think of it as the captains of each class electing the school captain. The students of each class elect the school captain through their class captain. The presidential election of the United States of America.
The number of people in each electoral college for the U.S. presidential election depends on the population of the state.
The state of California elects 55 electors of the Electoral College because they have a higher population,
whereas Washington, D.C., with fewer people only elects 3 electors for their Electoral College.
So how is the Electoral College decided?
The citizens of each state vote for the elector of the candidate they support.
What is unusual about this process is that the number of electors is not dependent on the percentage of support for each candidate, but all the electors are assigned to the candidate that wins the plurality.
For example, if there are 10 electors assigned to the state S, and candidate A accounts for 60% of the votes, and candidate B accounts for 40%, then all 10 electors of state S support candidate A. Why does the U.S. have such a complicated election process?
The reason is linked to the form of the nation-state.
The USA is a federation where 50 states form one nation.
In the early days of the federation, transport and communication were not developed, making it difficult for everyone to vote directly, so the states had to gather opinions on who to support, and the Electoral College, the proxy, went to deliver the consensus. Faithless elector. But what happens if the Electoral College votes different from their state's decision?
In the U.S., this is called faithlessness.
And the elector who does not vote for whom they had pledged to vote is called a faithless elector. There are a lot of controversies on this issue, but the Supreme Court perceives the Electoral College as the representative of each state, and therefore they should not cast faithless votes.